I have Shalom Aleichem family. This is my 70th birthday message from my brother. I hope you're all going to take it to heart because I'm going to talk to you now about things that Dad and I were able to talk about and get past all the ancient history and come to some understanding about what went down. That you guys don't seem to be getting you seem to miss the memo. Um, I'm an intersex person. My genitals weren't quite right. I have no idea exactly what was going on, but the cuts that were done down there were the cause of all of my behavioral health disorders. That plus being forced into an unnatural gender role. My sex, I have no idea what it was before they cut on me, but they gave me an overactive penis that I literally had to beat senseless just to be able to keep a clear head. It was that much. The nerve endings and sensations were so totally wrong for what my brain was looking down for down there. And it's really that much better now that I've been on hormones for the last 6 years as far as the disconnect between my brain and my sex organ. But at least the rest of my behavior is like balanced out so that you don't see uh, that not so nice Tommy, or I forget the word that Jerry used. But that what that is a woman driven to the end of a rope with by people who are imposing their will on her without her consent, lashing back. And yeah, I broke a lot of things, including Dad's face. He tripped himself and broke his ankle. Um, but we both came to the understanding that that was the cultural norm of the time. Um, neither neither of us were to blame for what happened to me. I was the family's all of the family's dysfunction is due to medical malpractice, not anything else but medical malpractice, and it happened a long, long time ago. I've made a name for myself as a peacemaker and an artist and educator, um, totally underground. I mean, I get no press except bad press. Um, and I'm not like a transsexual. I'm called a two spirit, where yeah, I got male bottom and female top, and behaviorally I'm most like your typical butch lesbian. Um, I prefer a man. I guess I'd be bisexual or pansexual as far as my sexual orientation goes. I prefer a man, but he has to have the right plumbing. Uh, I've never, I I've had a dick in my mouth, and it was a very unpleasant experience. I've had sex with a trans man once, and that's it. And otherwise, just females all my life, except for one hermaphrodite back in the 80s. I've hardly had much sex at all. I've mostly been asexual because of this problem with my sex organ was damaged. Um, I'm what's called demisexual, to where you got to turn me on up here before I even allow the blood to go down there to do its thing, because it was just so distressing for me. And then when I was fornicating with women, I was just imagining myself to be the one being penetrated. That was easy enough. And I never said anything to any of my partners about it, which is why I quit doing it. Um, after Liz, it was like, okay, I'm done with this. I can't do this anymore, like that. And I finally was able to come out here. And I call them Tom moments, those outbursts. They're my behavioral health issues, as I understand them and as I see them, were high anxiety, panic attacks, Tourette's-like outbursts of rage and full-blown manic episodes where I was like totally over the deep end, but there wasn't an anger. The rage was me keeping my brain under control. I never hurt anybody worse than I needed to get away from them. And I never willfully hurt anything. I never tried to go hurt anything. I've never ripped anybody off. I mean, I've burned a few vendors because of circumstance that I was never able to take care of. And I have guilt feelings about that. And I did a lot of stealing as a kid, and I have guilt feelings about that, which is what makes it easy for me to oh well, another saxophone got stolen. Because it's just stuff. And, said a lot of things. Blood's thicker than water. And y'all are definitely afraid of something that I'm not, as long as everybody's cordial. As long as you understand that I'm not male. If you slip up and refer to me as he, it's no big deal, because I understand. You're not seeing me as female. You never did see me as female. And it's difficult for you to make the switch in your reflex pathways. That doesn't get me angry. What gets me upset is my sister telling me to stay away when I wanted to come and help with the end of my father's life. I was told to stay away from the funeral. When they edited down my a tribute to my father, because there are just things that they just made them uncomfortable. This is white privilege. My brother eats at Pat Robertson's table. He's one of the most dangerous men in the world to my people, who are the queer and indigenous people. We're indigenous Jews. You've allowed yourselves to become industrialized. I never did, because you booted me. And then I got booted into the street from there. I'm a well-known rainbow hippie. And, I studied ecosystem engineering in college, and I've been saying what's, for the last 50 years, what we're experiencing now, including the pandemic. And right now, I'm in a real happy space right now because of my friends and my own business, and just things looking forward. I'm excited about the prospect of being able to buy a vehicle again, and how much money is coming that I'll be able to put a large chunk into my savings account and just ignore it, use it for collateral, and I'm not really spending that much money. I can just, I've already got enough. I've already got $800 credit. And as soon as, I just put that money in the bank, and I got $10,000 credit at PayPal if I wanted. And so Michael and I were very close. When we were younger, much more so than we were to any of our brothers, to each other. When he got out of the service, he came straight to my bedroom window and woke me up. It was either out of the service or out of I forget if it was out of the service or out of the military school. But first stop he made was my bedroom window, waking me up. I worked with him for years. That's why I didn't want anything to do with liquidating his estate. And my compliments to Betty and Cindy for the good job they did finding the people that they did to do it. I thank the lawyer for his good. I haven't gotten the thing. I've had some difficulty in printing out the documents. Hopefully I'll be able to get that done tomorrow and get it into them. But I think it's real important that you understand what I really am. And Jerry, Jesus is our cousin, and Paulist Christianity is imperialist. And until people like you stand up to that Christian supremacism, like the Jews, American Jews are starting to stand up to the Jewish supremacism, it's going to be difficult for us to have any kind of cordial relationship. You're eating at the one of the leaders of the enemy's table, and there's nothing wrong with my teaching on this subject comes from rabbis that have said that Jesus' ministry was legit. That's what happened afterward that was became corrupted. Jesus was just repeating everything that Moses and the prophets had said. So, I have a lot of very dear Christian friends, even a conservative one, who live by Jesus' teachings and reject the imperialist church. You've embraced the imperialist church. You've embraced the prosperity gospel. Betty and Alan have embraced the bureaucracies. They've embraced the state side of that church-state fiefdoms thing that's been ruling the world and driving us right to extinction for thousands of years. And we're right on the edge of it now. And again, I'm in a happy space. I'm part of a very dynamic network of artists and educators who are doing whatever we possibly can to educate people to what's happening and what we can do to slow it down. We can't stop it at this point. The planet is forcing the carbon cycle back into homeostasis. The scientists have been saying this is going to happen for many, many years. I had teachers in college that quit high-paying jobs in polymer chemistry to teach what was really going on with this, and not the bullshit that the fossil fuel and mining industry. We need to leave that stuff in the ground. We need to pipe the water around. We can get plenty of energy from the water and the air. It's moving water and moving air has plenty of energy. We don't need to be burning the planet's lubrication. We don't need to be burning our blood and ripping our bones out of the ground to build things with. And do it all with him. And that's who I am. I was crazy Tommy Tudor in the old days, and since 1999 I've been online, and I've developed more of a toxic Tommy Tudor persona where I've called myself a devout eclectic and staunch middle of the roader. I was bar mitzvahed by an omnistic rabbi, and I've studied with Chabad rabbis, Litvak rabbis, about half a dozen elders of different nations. I know my shit, and I'm good, and I'm kind, and I'm generous, and I've taken a lot of heat and suffered a lot of pain. And right at the moment, the only pain I'm suffering is right here, from the plate that comes out of my jaw, that comes up through my gums, and it's all inflamed all the way through here. And the doctor is concerned about it becoming cancerous because it's been inflamed so long like that. That's the only pain I have in my life right at the moment. My cash flow has been good. I'll play a little bit on my new horn for you. Maybe I can even find Happy Birthday or something. I don't know. I haven't worked on that. But I really want to come. If I can get it together before the end of the year, I'd really like to come and spend holidays with Mom. And when I went to visit Jerry, it was just me and him at the beach. I don't want to have to do that with my mother. I just hope you're going to understand that the not so nice Tommy only comes out when you force her, when you're being stubborn, when you're saying things that aren't true, when you're trying to impose your will on me without my consent. You have to draw, and it takes a lot to draw to drive me to a Tom movement anymore. I assure you, there is nothing that my family could possibly do at this stage in my life to make me angry like I was when I was a child. Okay? So let me just go and warm up my horn and see what comes out. Happy birthday, Jerry. Turn it around. That's my sloppy work table. And there's my keyboard and horn. Oh, my weed tray's in there too. And this is where I make jewelry. Polish things, final polish. I don't do the heavy polishing inside. I do this, the final polish with this. And then I just bought a jewelry. I don't want. It's off camera. I brought one of the little um, jewelry, ultrasonic jewelry cleaners. So let's go warm up the fort. Empty my pockets. I don't like to have like any kind of anything. I'd play naked if I could get away with it. But I like to have a loose and light clothing on when I'm playing. I got this one. I bought a curved soprano with the money that Mom sent years ago. Now that I want to landed in Tucson, and it got stolen. And I bought this also, a keyboard with that money, and a 2-channel mixer, and a bunch of other things. Futon. Futon's finally dead, but I just got a full-size bed. The futon was in the backyard. It's still in the backyard. I should have hauled it out this morning because the boat pickup was today. It's probably too moldy to ever use again after the heavy monsoon season. And I'm planning on replacing that with lawn furniture. Something more lawn, made for outdoors. And I bought a nice size, deep, about this deep, inflatable pool too. I guess it'll work, but I'm just really not feeling playing it. I'll make something for y'all when I'm in the mood to be playing. My face hurts a little bit too much to play a lot, and I don't want to be making a lot of long videos right now. I'll get the camera going and talk to it for hours, but this is about coming up on 20 minutes. And I pretty much said what I wanted to say. None of us are to blame for what was done to me or how I reacted to it. Nobody. And it was 50, we parted ways in 1975. Okay? It's been that long. But I've been struggling to maintain a bridge to the family. In 1975. Oh no. It lasted until after college. 1978. Okay? From 1978 on, I have not been part of your family. And I have done everything I can to convince you that I'm part of your family and that what you're afraid of is a monster of your own creation. And it's not your fault that you created it. So let it go, please. Happy day.